Later, I will try to walk through the caller's question. It's just, the whole spirit of the thing made me nauseous, and I'm just taken back by this stuff sometimes. Just by the attitude. And so later I'll go over it. Just in the middle of all of the normal things that go on around here, it just makes my head spin sometimes. We do have her on with us, and we appreciate her coming on the show. She's Valerie Stevens. She's the co-chair of OPT, and that's the Optimum Population Group, optimumpopulation.org. And I'm sorry we had so much trouble connecting with you. It's good to have you on with us, Valerie.
Thank you. That's okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, about the organization that you co-chair.
Well, it's basically an environmental think tank, if you like. We're all deeply concerned about the global environment and, of course, the environment in our very overcrowded island of the United Kingdom. And like the rest of the world, we're tremendously concerned about global climate change, global warming, based on the huge amounts of fossil fuels that we burn. And so I guess it's the same in some parts of the United States, but here in Britain and Europe, we've been talking a great deal about what every citizen can do to try to cut down on each person's emissions of carbon dioxide, changing the light bulbs, taking the bus instead of your car, and this kind of thing. But because we're concerned about population impacts, our message is have one less child. Do you find that shocking?
Oh, well, don't worry. The West is already dead, and that will accelerate it. In fact, you guys are saying the Westerners are the ones that really don't need to have children because our carbon footprint is so big, and there's talk about it being fines or fees. That really is the one-child policy of China. But I would say victory is complete. I mean, the West already pretty much can't reverse its decline.
No, nowhere in anything that we say on our website have we talked about fines or anything like that. It must all be voluntary, based on people's awareness of what's happening.
Well, it's talking about it's talking about taxes. It's talking about penalties. I mean, I have the Times of London. I have Australian News. Well, explain it to us, because I'm really honored to. Well, ma'am, we've got a break. Quick break, and I really appreciate your stalwart stoicism while we didn't get connected to you for 17 minutes. Stay there. We appreciate you gracing us with your time, and we'll be right back to let you elaborate on this. Stay with us.
Did you ever wonder how an opera singer that hits a high note is able to shatter a wine glass? Well, the glass has a natural resonance. If the resonant frequency force making the glass vibrate is big enough, the size of the vibration will become so large that the glass shatters. Using this similar principle, Royal Raymond Rife discovered that disease organisms can be destroyed using different resonant frequencies. The BioSolutions frequency instrument uses the same technology for relief or elimination of pain and disease conditions with no side effects. The 2006 BioSolutions Plus is the easiest to operate frequency instrument ever developed. Its easy reference guide will allow you to begin using the instrument within minutes. Simple step-by-step instructions using pictures are easy to follow. Customer satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. Don't just treat symptoms, eliminate the cause. For more information, call BioSolutions toll-free 1-866-885-6625. That's 1-866-885-6625. 1-866-885-6625.
As many people know, ever since President Nixon took us off the gold standard, the U.S. dollar has been devaluating. What people don't know, however, is how this directly affects your personal finances. Is there a way to prevent your portfolios from losing value? The answer to all of this is gold and silver. They have both maintained their purchasing power for 6,000 years. If you had had $100,000 in cash and $100,000 in gold and silver back in 1913 and kept them both until now, your cash would actually have the buying power of only $4,800, but your gold and silver would have the buying power of $3 million. The answer to protecting your assets is simple. Call me, John Ballman, today at 1-800-686-2237, extension 169. Get all your questions answered before your your money is worth zero. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 169. Take action today while we still accept paper dollars for gold. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 169.
Now you can upgrade your existing gravity filter to remove chemicals such as trimethylenes, atrazine, benzene, chlorine, chloroform, and MTBE to below detectable limits. Black murky elements are so powerful they remove pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and transform water, even raw stagnant pond water, into delicious crystal clear drinking water. Nitrates, nitrites, radon-222, unwanted heavy metals like lead, mercury, and aluminum are no problem. Foul tastes like chlorine and obnoxious sulfur odors are removed without removing the healthful and beneficial minerals that your body needs. Black murky elements flow 1.5 to 2 times faster than ordinary gravity elements, which means it takes much less time to filter your water. Supercharge your gravity filter today. Upgrade to black murky purification elements.
Get a 2-pack, only $99, or a 4-pack, only $188. Call New Millennium, 888-803-4438. That's 888-803-4438, or order on the web at berkeywater.com.
I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, of the NutriMedical Report here on Genesis. Allison's natural antibiotic from Alamax Nutraceuticals US is a real thing. This amazing molecule is a stabilized antimicrobial, antipathogenic killer for fresh, never before available garlic. Allison molecule is biologically active against all bacterial pathogens, viruses, fungi, parasites, TB, and it kills flesh-eating bacteria, MRSA, Acinetobacter infections that ravage our everyday health. Taken daily, it removes these stealth pathogens, clearing our bodies of disease activators that cause chronic health issues and means a much higher level of wellness for you and your family. Order today for fighting disease, turning on your immune system, activating infection-fighting properties against sinus, lung, bowel, skin, Lyme disease, nail fungus, colds, flu, ringworm, gum disease, diarrhea, athlete's foot, and cholesterol. Secure online ordering is available at NutriMedical.com or call 888-212-8871. That number again, 888-212-8871, the most powerful natural antimicrobial available.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
We have the co-chair of the Optimum Population Trust, and she joins us, Valerie Stevens. Valerie, you say nowhere on your website should you say that it's an eco-crime, but the headline in the Sunday Times of London is having large families is an eco-crime. How do you think that they came up with that headline?
I've no idea, and it's rather embarrassed us because we wouldn't say words like a crime at all. We're saying we want people to think about this issue. We do wonder about the advisability of, some governments in Europe and also in Australia are so concerned about low birth rates that they actually offer big bonuses and handouts if you have a third
But see,
child.
that won't work. You guys are actually helping us, and I appreciate you. Put your billboards up, start taxing having kids. People like to rebel, and so as soon as you make it stylish to have more children, you're actually going to save the beloved West. So I just want to thank you.
Right.
We're going to win. We can't be stopped. You just need to know that.
Well, when you say the West, are you including Europe with USA?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we have quite different...
and Japan, too. I don't want the Japanese to become extinct.
We don't want anybody to become extinct. I'll tell you what, our bottom line is that we think that the number of births each year should be roughly equal to the number of deaths, so that we're not having 80 million more people on the planet every year, all of them using energy, all of them emitting or being responsible for the emissions of carbon dioxide.
But you cannot deny that China has now surpassed the United States in carbon footprint emissions, and they're not putting in any of these controls. And well, I was going to stop you, except for the beloved one-child policy, which is the law, and there are fines associated. Do you think that's a sensible thing they're doing in China?
I do, actually. I think the world would be in a really terrible mess now if the Chinese had not instituted that one-child policy.
Okay, so there you go right there. Is that you say you don't want it to be the law and don't want fines, but you really do in the end of the day.
Not in the Western democracies, no. That has to be the choice of the people. We have free votes, and we can choose that kind of thing.
But you support China doing it at a barrel of a gun.
I think China has the number of people in China who would have starved by now, died of starvation, is even with their one-child policy for the past 15 years, they are totally running out of water. Parts of their country is becoming an absolute
No,
desert.
that's not true. I've seen all the numbers. No.
So, if they'd not had the one-child policy, before now, millions and millions of them would have starved.
Well, Mao admits he killed 60 mil in the Cultural Revolution and the Great Leap Forward. That's an official government they're very proud of it in official government publications, the mass culling. They're the apple of the UN's eye. They get all the big awards, and it's the government planning that has caused the problems. They can easily increase their yield and feed their population if
I think you have not looked at the way their water tables are receiving because they've been overpumped, and I know that parts of the USA are they
have the ocean. They could build desalination. Humans can do whatever's needed.
And desalination plant uses fossil fuel energy
to drive again, Al Gore's been proven to be a fraud. All scientists do not agree, as that UN report fraudulently said, and hundreds of those scientists are on record saying their names were added without their consent. We have the ice core samples that it's an 800-year gap of carbon dioxide increases after warming begins. Carbon dioxide is not a pollutant. It is a life accelerant. Plants grow even faster and more healthy. In our ancient past, we had a higher carbon dioxide level in photosynthesis, boosting total oxygen levels for all of the different types of animal life. That is a scientific hoax and a fraud.
No, I think you will see that the bulk of scientists around the world are agreed that global climate change is happening, and it is probably due to economic.
You guys were saying all scientists just 6 months ago till they all started going public about the lies. Now you got to say bulk of scientists.
It's a very small number of scientists who are saying that Al Gore's wrong, or all these other scientists around the world are wrong. It is a very small number who are countering that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's your study or a major index on that? What's your proof? Let me see your proof.
In Science, in New Scientist, these magazines that reflect the scientific community.
That are owned by the oil companies that want to have a global carbon tax. We have the Bilderberg Group and SPP documents. This is a giant hoax. Peak Oil's a hoax. And we have the documents, and we're going to get it out to the people. Tell you what, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to be polite. I've got a little angry. I'm not being gentlemanly. I apologize to you. One more little segment with us, please. I'd like to hear, then, what we should do if you're right. We'll be right back.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
JLS Research, the makers of all-natural and very effective No-BO deodorant, has now discovered very unique research that indicates those who have body odor may be deficient in a certain dietary component. Their new product, the First Responder, supplies the body with the missing link so that it can respond to the symptom called body odor. By using organics and enzymes to step up the body's ability to absorb more freely, the body begins to respond by taking in the missing nutrient. As it responds, body odor will then no longer be an issue. First Responder is the first of its kind, comprised of only 4 organics: grapeseed skins, grapeseed, grapefruit seed, and garlic. It's so effective, you need only 1 organic capsule per day to keep the odor away. First Responder is 100% guaranteed. Go online and order First Responder at no-bo.com. Visit no-bo.com or call JLS Research at 850-723-8599. That's 850-723-8599.
Do you need more than just the constant news of impending tyranny? Yes, this is Elizabeth Border back with The Divided Kingdom, the hour that analyzes spiritual and cultural issues too. Lou Blanchard and I are delighted, thanks in large part to past listeners' lobbying efforts, now to be on the great Genesis Communications Network Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Central formidable Alex Jones says, this is the network often imitated but never duplicated. Lou and I made the conscious decision to move to GCN because of its classy lineup and leadership. We invite you to hear our program, one we pray will strengthen and bless you. Indeed, trouble is part of the story, but the fellowship of faith surpasses it. Tune in at 6 p.m. Central. Also, be sure to visit our Tuesday guest host, Dr. Carl Sanders' website, trumpetmen.org.
Did you know that the water you drink every day can be even more beneficial to your health? I'm not talking so-called enriched water, but I'm talking about electrolyzed water. RPA Biotech is an amazing American company that provides unique technology to transform water. The Electrolyzed Plus water will alkalinize your water more powerfully than any other single nutraceutical because a body in an alkaline state can't grow pathogens, become allergic, or develop autoimmune disease or vascular degenerative illness. Electrolyzed water is non-toxic, non-corrosive, and environmentally safe for humans and animals. Alkaline water is available as a concentrate to be mixed with good, filtered, purified RO water, but not tap water, microstructured, alkaline, antioxidant water for consumption. Call for your Electrolyzed Plus alkalinizing miracle rejuvenating water concentrate or other remarkable RPA Biotech products like Ultimate Fuel, Sport Performance Drink at 888-212-8871. That's 888-212-8871, or go to NutriMedical.com. That's N-U-T-R-I with an I, medical.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are graced and honored to have Valerie Stevens of the Optimum Population Trust joining us. OptimumPopulation.org. Okay, without me then sitting here running over you, you say you support what China's doing, but that we're democracies, so we can't do that here, but you don't support a tax or it being the law to reduce children or the number of births. And I'm going to have more children just because of this, by the way, because we will survive, we will continue, and we are not a cancer on the earth, as Prince Philip has called us. But, I mean, explain to us then that paradox between what China's doing is good, but that we're not going to do that here, but you're just introducing us to it, and how evil our carbon footprint is.
I think perhaps we come to it from a slightly different point of view. Remember that in the United Kingdom, we're even more densely populated than China. We are struggling with a population of 60 million on this tiny island, and our numbers are still growing by about 250,000 every year.
Illegal aliens, your actual birth rate is 1.5. You're dying.
1.78, actually.
Then I guess the BBC's lying. I think they're integrating second-generation foreigners. If you actually look at real populations there, the Germanic Mongol tribes, and by Mongol tribes, an amalgamation of the Germanic and Norse populations, Romanic invasions, that it's actually at about 1.3. But go ahead.
Right. We are still concerned about the way in which our cities are encroaching on greenbelt in this country. And we see that happening all over Europe, the spread of dense populations in industrialized countries. We're desperately worried about the kind of future that our children and grandchildren are going to face. I can't imagine, Mr. Jones, that you think it's a welcome thing in the world today that is running out of resources to have 80 million more people on the planet every year. I really cannot understand how anybody can say
well, the problem is that I have literally decades of research on this subject, and I know that once third world nations industrialize, that their population growth will go down to zero immediately.
Oh, no, it can't go immediately because the people, even if all the couples in third world countries only had one child per couple.
By immediately, tomorrow, I mean as soon as they industrialize.
But even if they did it tomorrow, the number of
the UN's own studies. Let me just finish. The UN's own studies say that population will grow to 9.5 billion and then start declining.
So that's 2.5 billion more than we have now. That cannot be good for a planet that already overshoots its renewable resource base.
Here's the problem, ma'am. Here's the problem. I have the oil company documents. They're behind the whole fake environmental movement. The environmental movement is nothing more than neo-feudalism and serfdom. Actually, there's few countries in the world that have more green space and more held lands and palaces for your royalty, and that basically you're still in a feudal model with very few landowners, with massive pressure to steal the land of the farmers that are still there, and all the harassment they go under, and that we haven't. This is nothing but Malthusian social Darwinism. Are you familiar with Prince Philip, who's a big supporter, I know, of your foundation and other groups, saying he wants to come back as a virus to kill 80% of us?
I'm absolutely flabbergasted, Mr. Jones, that you can even be bothered to talk to me, since my background is obviously so obnoxious to you. Perhaps I should just put the phone down and say, maybe we'll talk another time.
Well, what do you know about Prince Philip?
Goodbye, Mr. Jones.
Oh, man, that really got to her right there. Goodbye, Mr. Jones. We'll be dealing with you soon enough. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And, of course, he showed us his true colors. He showed us his true colors. What was it, 6 years ago now? Whenever the head of the 700 Club, Pat Robertson, said on CNN, China's doing what it has to do with abortion and even forced abortion in China. He goes, what are they going to do? They have to. Yes, and he gave a clarification. He said they've got to have it even more strict Planned Parenting. Once you give in to that view, once you let the government be the arbiter of human life and decide who can live and who can't, we already have eugenics of our old. We already have all this rapid family planning with the goal of destroying the family. We actually have, and that's UN extreme numbers show 9.5 billion. The numbers are really showing it'll probably plane off at about 8 billion. If you go up in an airplane over many areas of the world, it's completely unpopulated. England is barely populated. You bring up Prince Philip to these people, who's a big supporter of the views espoused by the group you just heard, and bringing up the prince is a no-no. And he did write the foreword to If I Was an Animal, published 1988. Reuters also they asked him about it, and he repeated it. Audubon Society questioned him. He repeated it and said more. These are on record. I actually own the book and the publications. And he says that he wants to see 80% of us die. And, man, I brought that up, and it was like producing a silver crucifix to Beelzebub himself. I mean, it was as you talk about specters vanishing, and you see, we know their game. And it was all about everyone agrees the earth is overpopulated, needs to be reduced. Everyone agrees the carbon emission is destroying everything. And I go, no, actually, it's the very ether in which we swim. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are minority gases in the atmosphere. And all the major studies show that life, animal and plant, lives longer, accelerates, has better cell structures in a more oxygen and carbon dioxide rich environment. It is literally delicious. It is the life forms on this planet that are generating the atmosphere that perpetuates the life forms. Our atmosphere is actually also, some of it is lost into space while it's being bombarded by the ions and different particles coming in out of the galaxy and from the sun itself, and that we're actually being stripped and losing oxygen despite the gravitational pull that holds in much of the gases. If we want to be like Mars and lose our atmosphere and die, then for heaven's sakes, we want to try to manipulate and stop the normal processes. The UN's own report, which is inflated and proven to be a fraud, but again, using their numbers, 6% of greenhouse gas emissions are caused by human activity. 6%, and that's including around half of that, they claim, methane gas emissions from the animal feeds and in the stomach. It's flatulence. That's why they want to start reducing and banning and taxing and the cows. There's always been bovine ranging in even greater numbers than there are now in North America. They called them the buffalo. There were many species of deer extincted. There were many more type of the cloven hoof animals running about as well, and they were knocked out. There was overhunting. There is overfishing and overhunting, and I don't like a lot of old growth forests being cut down. I believe in preserving our earth. But let me tell you, every time they take some farmer's ranch with this stuff, it's to build a hotel or golf course 5 years later. Every time they take a community's marina, they build a 5-star marina there and condos. It is about stealing property. It is neo-feudalism. And goodbye, Mr. Jones. I will now exercise the power and the authority to terminate this interview because you have brought up His Royal Highness. How dare you bring him up? How dare you? How dare you bring up His Royal Highness? He is such a wonderful individual who has such a greater vision than you do, you pathetic, backwards, country bumpkin Yankee. We've got real intellect. We've got real understanding over here. We know how to order society. She couldn't stand it when I told her we're going to win, and we are. We're going to ace them. You're not going to stop the human spirit, and you're not going to stop its dynamic agility. We're going to unlock it, and we're going to run over the top of you and all of your ilk. And we're going to spread into the heavens. Our offspring are going to inherit, and they're going to inherit God's incredible promises and the wonders we've been promised. And we're not going to be blocked by the likes of you that have tried to cull our population and who have tried to reduce our numbers and who have tried to control us forever. They're the feudal managers. And all their simpering sales jobs have failed, and they're going to fail miserably. You will never stop the true Renaissance. You will never stop our ever moving forward as a species. I say they won't. They may release some super weapon. I don't mean their pathetic group. They're useful idiots, I'm sure mean well. But I mean the military-industrial complex, PNAC, the New World Order crowd, the Prince Philip type crowd. So I say they won't stop us, and I know in my gut they're not going to. But it absolutely blows me away. You know, Dr. Pianka, let's kill everybody, let's use the Chinese model, or kill 90%. And then, oh, yes, China, I agree with them, but here we need to have a more, that's not the phase where, oh, His Royal Highness supports getting rid of the mass of the population. I think we're going to end this right now. I think we're going to stop this right here and right now, Mr. Jones. Again, I am not for setting up these death mills in like Margaret Sanger, who gave awards to Hitler, got awards from him. That's where they learned it all. The Rockefeller Foundation funded the major Nazi eugenics. That's mainstream history, New York Times cover. We have all the articles back in the 30s and 40s. You're not going to stop us. And I am, these death mills in the Hispanic and black areas, I don't want all their children to die. I don't want them killing their babies. Once they get a good socioeconomic level, they will go into actual negative population because people are selfish and want to watch TV and want to go party and look at the pathetic white population. They've bought into all the lies and all the evil of the New World Order, and look at our communities falling apart in mass. And they say, oh, yes, we must accelerate it in Europe. I mean, it's just disgusting. So I'm not a hypocrite about this. I don't want the blacks and the Mexicans to not have their children, ladies and gentlemen. But I got to tell you, I mean, just to watch the death of Europe, it's happening. Look at the numbers. And I hear the illegals celebrate it and, you're dying, go back to Europe, ha, ha, ha. Hey, man, I don't want you to die. We're all human beings here. And so you've bought into that whole attitude. And I just, it's just absolutely disgusting. And I've had enough of it. And we're going to expose these people. My new film is going to expose these people. And, the caller earlier, I was actually sitting here mad that we hadn't got our guest on yet, that there was a problem. And so when the caller called in and said, Alex, and the caller might have meant well, but Alex, it's just too good to be true. And you say they can play us like a fiddle. And Ron Paul, he's just too good to be true. And I just don't know what to. Okay, let's say Ron Paul's bad. He's some type of sleeper, which he isn't. Look at the fruit this tree has bore. That's the test. That's how you know. An evil tree cannot bear good fruit. They never do. It's the fruit. The fruit. He's defeated legislation. He's put in good legislation. He's never stopped. He's never deviated. He's always been true and trustworthy. He's given no indicators. It's like, how do you trust me? The fruit. Look at the fruit. How much we've defeated together. How much good we've done. The victories we've had. It's the fruit. The fruit. I'm going to say it again. The fruit. The fruit. The fruit. The fruit. How do you judge a tree? How do you judge a vine? How do you judge a grapevine? Is it healthy? Is it bearing good fruit? It can have big leaves and big, long tendrils into the ground on its vines. But they'll tell you some of the best grapes come off the old vines. They've got the little leaves and don't even look that healthy, but it's got the fruit. I don't know how I'm supposed to explain this to you, and how, and I hear people say bad stuff about Ron Paul, and they never give any facts. I mean, you come in with an accusation. It was an accusation. They play us like a fiddle. I just don't know about Ron Paul. Give your evidence. Give your examples. You do not have them. Believe me, I know this man. I've looked at him. I've studied him. I've watched him. And I trust Ron Paul. And then there's also, in any fight, you've got to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. But at the same time, you've got to have a little trust. You know what? I could sit here and be paranoid. People always ask me, well, you must be paranoid what you do. No, I'm not paranoid. I don't worry about my life. I don't worry about things. I just put it in God's hands, and I try to have some discernment. And if people bear bad fruit and do weird things, I give them a lot of rope, and then I get them out of my life. I get away from them. But it's all the fruit. And look at how the media is attacking. Now, the media was going, Ron Paul's great. Ron Paul's going to win. Ron Paul's the man to fight the New World Order. If they suddenly did that, I'd go, whoa. I still wouldn't distrust Ron Paul because of his fruit, what he's done, his works, his life, who he is, and then my discernment on top of that. But I would go, they're going to set him up, or they're going to try to discredit the movement through him, or something's coming up. No. The fact that they're censoring him and attacking him and doing all this, that's only more of a confirmation. You see? And so I guess you're probably a good person. I'm sorry if I was mean to you. It's just that lack of discernment and just the whole tone of it, I recoiled from it. Plus I was busy throwing a fit about a guest not being on the show. We'll be right back to talk more about it and take calls in the third hour. It's here. After a year in production and traveling to distant lands, my new film Terror Storm is complete. Shocking declassified government.
It'll all be voluntary based on people's awareness of what's happening.
Well, wait, it's talking about taxes. It's talking about penalties. I mean, I just have the Times of London. I have Australian news. Well, explain it to us, because I'm really honored to. Well, man, we've got a break. Quick break, and I really appreciate your stalwart stoicism while we didn't get connected to you for 17 minutes. Stay there. We appreciate you gracing us with your time, and we'll be right back to let you elaborate on this. Stay with us.
Did you ever wonder how an opera singer that hits a high note is able to shatter a wine glass? Well, the glass has a natural resonance. If the resonant frequency force making the glass vibrate is big enough, the size of the vibration will become so large that the glass shatters. Using this similar principle, Royal Raymond Rife discovered that disease organisms can be destroyed using different resonant frequencies. The BioSolutions frequency instrument uses the same technology for relief or elimination of pain and disease conditions with no side effects. The 2006 BioSolutions Plus is the easiest to operate frequency instrument ever developed. Its easy reference guide will allow you to begin using the instrument within minutes. Simple step-by-step instruction.
Later, I will try to walk through the caller's question. It's just, the whole spirit of the thing made me nauseous, and I'm just taken back by this stuff sometimes. Just by the attitude. And so later I'll go over it. Just in the middle of all of the normal things that go on around here, it just makes my head spin sometimes. We do have her on with us, and we appreciate her coming on the show. She's Valerie Stevens. She's the co-chair of OPT, and that's the Optimum Population Group, optimumpopulation.org. And I'm sorry we had so much trouble connecting with you. It's good to have you on with us, Valerie.
Thank you. That's okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, about the organization that you co-chair.
Well, it's basically an environmental think tank, if you like. We're all deeply concerned about the global environment and, of course, the environment in our very overcrowded island of the United Kingdom. And like the rest of the world.
That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 169.
Now you can upgrade your existing gravity filter to remove chemicals such as trimethylenes, atrazine, benzene, chlorine, chloroform, and MTBE to below detectable limits. Black murky elements are so powerful they remove pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and transform water, even raw stagnant pond water, into delicious crystal clear drinking water. Nitrates, nitrites, radon-222, unwanted heavy metals like lead, mercury, and aluminum are no problem. Foul tastes like chlorine and obnoxious sulfur odors are removed without removing the healthful and beneficial minerals that your body needs. Black murky elements flow 1.5 to 2 times faster than ordinary gravity elements, which means it takes much less time to filter your water. Supercharge your gravity filter today. Upgrade to black murky purification elements.
Get a 2-pack, only $99, or a 4-pack, only $188. Call New Millennium, 888-803-4438. That's 888-803-4438, or order on the web at berkeywater.com.
I'm Dr. Bill Diggle, MD, of the NutriMedical Report here on Genesis. Allison's natural antibiotic from Alamax Nutraceuticals US is a real thing.
Tremendously concerned about global climate change, global warming, based on the huge amounts of fossil fuels that we burn. And so I guess it's the same in some parts of the United States, but here in Britain and Europe we've been talking a great deal about what every citizen can do to try to cut down on each person's emissions of carbon dioxide, changing the light bulbs, taking the bus instead of your car, and this kind of thing. But because we're concerned about population impacts, our message is have one less child. Do you find that shocking?
Oh, well, don't worry. The West is already dead, and that will accelerate it. In fact, you guys are saying the Westerners are the ones that really don't need to have children because our carbon footprint is so big, and there's talk about it being fines or fees. That really is the one-child policy of China. But I would say victory is complete. I mean, the West already pretty much can't reverse its decline.
No, Nowhere in anything that we say on our website have we talked about fines or anything like that. It must have...
Using pictures are easy to follow. Customer satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. Don't just treat symptoms. Eliminate the cause. For more information, call BioSolutions toll-free, 1-866-885-6625. That's 1-866-885-6625. 1-866-885-6625.
As many people know, ever since President Nixon took us off the gold standard, the U.S. dollar has been devaluating. What people don't know, however, is how this directly affects your personal finances. Is there a way to prevent your portfolios from losing value? The answer to all of this is gold and silver. They have both maintained their purchasing power for 6,000 years. If you had had $100,000 in cash and $100,000 in gold and silver back in 1913 and kept them both until now, your cash would actually have the buying power of only $4,800, but your gold and silver would have the buying power of $3 million. The answer to protecting your assets is simple. Call me, John Ballman, today at 1-800-686-2237, extension 169. Get all your questions answered before your money is worth zero. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 169. Take action today while we still accept paper dollars for gold.